Sweet. We are officially live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. I cannot believe it, but we are on season 5 of the podcast. Season 5. This is unbelievable. Tonight, we are sitting down with one of my greatest friends and soon-to-be colleagues, Dr. Barbara Eaton, which I am pumped for this conversation. We're going to get all into the ripple effect, what that means to you, how you can start implementing some of these strategies that Dr. Barb brings to the table for you. And then we're going to talk about some things that Dr. Barb's cooking up over in her corner of the world, because you always know Dr. Barb brings the heat when it comes to summits, and I know she's got a huge pediatric boot camp coming up. And if anything's hot right now in chiropractic, it is pediatric chiropractic. So we want to make sure we get as many people to that event as we can and make sure we stack those rooms, because I know it's sold out, Doc, and you opened up some spots for people to get in there, which is absolutely great. So I am so thrilled to be back with everybody. And before we thank our initial sponsors here, I just want to say that this season is going to be jam-packed with amazing, amazing guests, such as Dr. Barbara, kicking us off with episode 1 here. But we have so many great guests coming around, so make sure you follow us, make sure you like our stuff, make sure you turn on those notifications to get when we go live, get those notifications when we actually go live. We'll try to stick to about Tuesday. We have some Wednesdays in there, but it's typically Tuesdays and Thursdays of the next 3 months, all the way through March, that we will be going live and having guests on and bringing them on to just rock and roll and talk chiropractic, talk business, and talk, reality and shine some light on chiropractic reality for chiropractic students. So that's what this program is all about. So without further ado, I want to thank our initial sponsors here. And also be sure to show them some love. There's a link in the description here, and you can absolutely click on those, show them some love, download all of the free giveaways that they're literally just giving away. It's awesome. So I'm super pumped for that. So let's get into it. And then when we come back, Doc, I want you to kind of give your opening remarks. People are probably familiar with who you are, but we're going to get all into the hot topic of the ripple effect today, and talking all about that. So when we come back, we will be talking all about it. To Inspire Women is the elite boutique coaching company for chiropractors who are looking to live life and run business in a way that is personal, unique, and authentic. They focus on business systems and money mindset mastery so you can pay down debt, be more profitable, and serve more people. Their goal is to empower you to achieve success by your own rules and your own definition. Head to toinspirewomen.com now, because they know there's a better way. Chiro HD, superior cloud-based practice management software. Chiro HD is a user-friendly, all-in-one EHR solution built with one mission: to help you run your practice like a boss. Learn more at chirohd.com. Total Clinic Solutions is your go-to source for purchasing both brand new and refurbished chiropractic equipment, as well as phone support for repairs and maintenance. Call Derek and allow him to combine your wishes and his 23 years of chiropractic equipment expertise to find what's best for you and your patients at 704-622-4089, or head to totalclinicsolutions.com now. It's time that chiropractors look beyond spinal alignments and measured the nerve connections that keep our patients feeling strong and performing at their peak. CLA designed the Insight scanning technologies to transform exams and generate powerful reports that give practitioners the certainty they have been searching for. Learn how CLA has partnered with practices around the world by going to insightcla.com. Spinal hygiene products are designed to educate your patients on the importance of lifetime spinal care. To learn more about how spinal hygiene products work and to download the patient education material for free, visit spinalhygiene.co. Again, that's spinalhygiene.co. Easily share your passion for chiropractic and look good doing it with Above Down Apparel, offering a premium lineup of principled apparel that's impossibly soft, sustainably sourced, and chiropractic AF. Visit abovedown.co and follow them on Instagram to learn more and score yourself some sweet chiro swag. Sked is the all-in-one system that allows for amazing control and flexibility of your scheduling. Yes, your next new hire. Every aspect of when and where you service your customers is at your command. Sked is tightly integrated with your existing EHR system. This software was made by a chiropractor specifically for chiropractic. No joke. Go check out their latest care plan feature by heading to go.sked.life/legendarypod. Dr. David Toohill is an innovative product and marketing strategist, bridging the gap between your vision and strategic plan. He will help you design specific products and processes that are both scalable and set up to produce long-term revenue and growth. He has previously worked with influencers that include Dr. Josh Axe, Jordan Rubin of Ancient Nutrition, Olympic gold medalist Shawn Johnson, and many, many others. Schedule your call with Dr. Dave today by heading to meetwithdrdave.com. Training the best adjusters on the planet, Syntropy has reverse engineered what the masters do naturally. From the energetics to the mechanics, they've hacked the code to shorten your learning curve on the road to masterful adjusting. To find a seminar near you, head to syntropychirotraining.com. Thank you for allowing this brief disruption to take place. And now back to the program.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Okay. I apologize, everybody, for the black screen, but you got to hear the sponsors. I'm going to work on that glitch. We have a couple things that we're kind of working through some bugs here. But you'd think, I was telling Dr. Barb, you'd think after, 70 plus of these Facebook Lives, you'd have everything figured out. But you don't, because technology always finds a way to bite you in the butt. And but we roll with the punches because we're humans and we're adaptable. So, Dr. Barb, talk to us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and what's coming down the pipeline for 56-day boot camp.
Who I am? Well, let's see. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a friend. I am the creator of the 56-day chiropractic boot camp to double your business, which is the hottest, most amazing tribe on the planet. You'll appreciate this as a social media guy. So there are 433 boot campers on our private Facebook page, which is part of their membership. And when I just looked at these stats on Monday, 413 are active on the Facebook page.
Awesome.
So we have 93.5% activity of our members, which in social media terms, if you can get 25% of your page to be active, you're doing pretty freaking amazing. And we decided to 4X that. So, yeah. And the reason that is important and why I bring that up as students is it's really important to claim your niche. So if you've heard me speak, then I'm all about like defining your niche and dominating it. Like, don't show up to just be another chiropractor because, no offense, but you're a dime a dozen. You have to show up and be the very best in what you do. And if you don't know how to be the very best, if you're not the very best, then it's your duty, your responsibility, and your obligation to get the training, get the support in order to be your best. And that's exactly what the boot camp is, the greatest threat to any of us living to our optimum potential is a low demand environment. So the part of the reason that we have so much activity in the boot camp is because every single one of us is contributing to each other's lives. And that's where we have the ripple effect, right? So when I pour into a boot camper's life who's, let's say, in Chicago, I get to be part of that ripple effect because I'm pouring into Dr. Christina's life. If you were in the boot camp and you helped one of the boot campers who's in California and her practice starts exploding, you get to be part of that ripple effect. And so in the boot camp, we're very interconnected to help one another because as obviously one person grows, we all get to grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's really important that people understand where you're coming from. Because as you know, better than probably anybody, that there are coaching groups and management groups that kind of have a bad reputation of, kind of being predatory or not, kind of more self-serving versus serving the greater good of others, right? And really looking at that broad scope of, you have niche boutiques and coaching groups that actually really care about your success and what you do and how you do it, and making not only yourself look better for your community locally, but also making chiropractic on a global scale look better, right? Because everyone's going to practice in their own unique and individual way. And I think a great coach and mentor like yourself really brings that out in people. And so if you haven't heard of the 56-day boot camp or chiropractic boot camp yet, you got to get on it. We'll share some links later in this video. But you have to check it out. It's absolutely worth doing. So Doc, let's talk about this, the ripple effect, right? The ripple effect. Where does this come from, right? Because I feel like it's kind of come to surface a little bit, but it's always been in play, right? And it kind of goes to, like, if we want to talk, we'll maybe talk about this, but like referrals and all this stuff, it all plays a role. So talk to us a little bit about, where did the ripple effect really come from, and now it's kind of shining. How did that happen?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. This letter. So check this out. Dear Dr. Barbara. Oh, it's by the way, it's dated 12/20/2019. And I made a copy of it because I keep the original in my purse to just remind me all the time. I read it all the time. Dear Dr. Barbara, I'm sending you 2 bottles of the most popular wine flavors from our local winery, Grafton, Illinois Winery. When we spoke initially in 2018, I told you I wanted to achieve when I joined the 56-day boot camp. Number 1, I wanted to build $1 million practice. At the time, I was making $8,000 a month. I wanted to reduce my weekly hours from 60 to 70 hours a week to 30 to 40. I wanted just a full-time job instead of a double full-time job. I wanted to take time to travel. I had not had a vacation since I opened my practice in 2009. Number 4, I'm in the sandwich generation. So I financially and physically take care of my elderly parents, and I financially and physically take care of my sister's disabled son. I joined the boot camp August 2018. My achievements to present: I'm earning $1 million of annual income. I fine-tuned my niche in chiropractic. I founded and coached chiropractors in my niche and incorporated it into the chiropractic offices. So Robin is one of the content creators in the boot camp. I now only work 35 hours a week. So she 10x her income and works half as much. You should all be asking how. Number 3, I've traveled to Atlanta, Georgia twice. I'll be traveling to Irvine, California. She's meeting me there on Thursday. To New York, which we're doing an event at New York School of Medicine there together. And then she's coming here to Boot Camp, Alaska this coming summer. Number 4, due to my increased income of $1 million, I've been able to open a gift shop next door to my chiropractic office with my sister, who runs a gift shop. My nephew Austin with autism and my niece Haley with central auditory processing deficit work at the gift shop part-time so they can be with their mom. We are working towards hiring more autistic individuals to work part-time at the gift shop so they have a place in this world too. The 56-day chiropractic boot camp is a life changer, not only for chiropractic office growth, but in every aspect of my life. Thank you, and God bless you, my dear friend and mentor. That's the ripple effect.
Boom. Boom. We could just end the call. I mean, that's unbelievable, Doc. That's unbelievable. And the fact that, you can get success from others or you can get the training and what it takes but nothing, it all comes back to the work ethic and actually putting it in, right? But having you there as a guide, as a leader, right? That would have never happened, right? And that's unbelievable to think about. It takes the 2 of you to make that happen. And I think that what you just read to us is unbelievably impactful and will serve thousands and thousands of others, because thousands and thousands of people will hear this and watch it and listen to it And I hope that it can impact some big lives. I really do. I hope that can. So tell us a little bit about how that makes you feel. I can see it in your face.
Yeah. So, I think it's really important to step back and, I think sometimes people look at whether it's you with a big personality or me with a big personality, and it's like, oh, well, it's just easy for you guys because, you can just talk to anybody and blah, 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 blah. And you know what? For a certain degree, yeah, you're probably right. It is probably easier for us. But what really matters is what do you do with your talents? Because I also know a lot of people who are really outgoing and they're broke. I know a lot of really talented people who aren't contributing to anybody else's life. And so when you meet Robin, she's just really quiet. She's super reserved. And yet look at this impact that she's making. So, when she started the boot camp August of 2018, she didn't know her potential, right? She knew she was capable of more, but didn't know how far she could stretch herself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, and I want all of you to really consider this for a minute. Have you ever heard someone say, I don't think chiropractic works? And my response is always like, oh, that's cool. Like, how often have you been adjusted? Oh, I never have. Oh, that's interesting. So something you've never done, for sure it doesn't work. I'm sorry that you're so closed-minded because you're really missing something fabulous in life. But guess what? We often tell ourselves the same lies about our own lives. And how do you know what you can do? You only know when you're testing the boundaries all the time. So now Dr. Robin pushed up and hit that $1 million mark, right? She's done it now. So now it's her duty, her responsibility, and her obligation to keep pushing it. It's always our responsibility to level up.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as we level up, that creates a vacuum that somebody else levels up to take that spot. So if all we ever do is the same thing in our lives, then we're preventing somebody else from stepping up themselves. So that's what the ripple effect is all about. Like, if Robin hadn't decided, she had a good practice, $8,000 a month, right? And she has pretty low overhead. If she hadn't chosen to experience some friction, right? In order to get any traction in your life, you have to have friction. I live here in Alaska. We have really icy roads right here. In order for me to be able to drive my car up there, I have spiked synthetic tires. So they have spikes in them, right? And then there's spikes that spreads the surface, and then they put gravel on the road. So you can get some friction in order to get traction. If it was just ice, you would spin and spin and spin. So please don't think that growth is going to be smooth. It's not supposed to be. It's friction. That's how you get traction. So Robin chose to experience the friction, to step out of her comfort zone, to invest in herself. And listen, students, hear me out. There is nothing you will ever put into your practice financially that will be able to make the return on investment as you. You are always your greatest asset. No digital x-ray machine, no heating table, no computer, no this, no that. None of that matters without you. It's you that makes the biggest difference. All of that other stuff, it's a commodity. But you must decommoditize yourself by being the very best version of yourself, and that means you have to always step up. Just like Robin, so look, she stepped up, right? She took it upon herself to experience that friction. And now as a result, her sister was able to step in and now create a better life for she and her kids. Who else was going to do that? Maybe nobody ever. But now because of that ripple effect, now her sister is making her own income instead of Robin having to support her. Now even those special needs kids, now it's contributing to all of our lives where they may have been at home. That's how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great explanation of that. I wrote down a couple notes that I want to mention because I think it's really important to recap a little bit of what you said, because it's a lot of times we hear things, but we don't understand them until they're reiterated to us, or we hear them in the way that we think we should hear them, right? So it's always best to kind of repeat some of the things, and I try to take as much as I can from these interviews and my guests and Dr. Barb here, and just kind of say, here's kind of summarizing what she said, and here's how we can do it in a student way, right? Here's how we can apply it now, in your life now, right? Because I think a lot of times we put a lot off for what can be in the future easily, right? And we're like, we could get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. And it's like, no. Now is the best time, right? Tomorrow is not coming. Now is the best time. So a couple things that I wrote down is that the last thing that you just said, it's 360. It's 360 degrees, not only in your life, but somebody else's, right? That could be immediate family, that could be extended family, that could be friends, colleagues. It could be however far-reaching it chooses to be, and you choose to make it go, right? But for Robin herself, it was her sister, right? Like, how cool is that, right? So now she's not only created a better life for her, but then her sister and her family and all of that. So I think that is not only 360 for Robin, but it's 360 for the whole family at that point. So that's the first thing I want to mention. And then the next thing I wanted to mention was you have to take the jump or the leap of faith into voluntarily accepting and choosing that friction, right? The uncomfortable, the unknown, the whatever you want to call it, the next challenge that is there, and you are doing everything you can to avoid it, right? You just got to own it. And I've learned that a lot, in especially in my last 3-4 months here of just trying to do what I can to best prepare myself for the future, whatever that looks like in chiropractic. And so it's like, okay, where are the challenges? Where are the pitfalls? And we talked about this. We've had this conversation, and now identifying them and saying, I'm going for these challenges, right? I want to create that friction because it makes me stronger. And then we go back to the first conversation you and I have ever had, and we talk about relationship capital. And if you don't have friction, if you don't involve other people in your journey, if you don't branch out or reach out for help when you need it most, you're not going to build the relationships to advance your future. And I firmly, firmly believe that. So I just put all three of our most recent past podcasts together on this one right there. So I think that's really cool, though. I think that's really, really neat. And talk to us a little bit now about leveling up, because you mentioned it, right? And you mentioned this vacuum phenomenon and all this stuff, not actual vacuum phenomenon that you see on, X-ray, but the actual vacuum phenomenon that I think of it as Mario, right? Someone comes out of the green tube, and then it gives an opportunity for someone to kind of be in there or level up on their own journey and their own pathway, because not everyone's on the same pathway. A lot of times social media lets us think that we're all on this playing field together, right? And that we're all at the same level, and we should all be doing the same things as, the wealthiest people or the best looking people or whatever, what have you. And then we get into this comparison game, and it makes it really difficult for us personally to take it to the next level for ourselves, even if it's a tiny leap, right?
So you know where the comparison game comes from, though, right?
Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, the comparison game is basically, I'm so uninterested in my own life.
Yep.
I look around at everybody else's.
Yep.
Just what they're doing, because I haven't personally defined what is exceptional for my own living, right? So, being a mom, what is an exceptional mother? Like, every woman gets to decide that for herself. Every father, every man gets to decide for himself what is an exceptional father. And then you run that race, not somebody else's race. You run your race. Just like for each one of you, you're going to have to decide what is an exceptional chiropractor. What does an exceptional chiropractor do? How does that exceptional chiropractor show up in their office, show up at home, show up out in the community? Like, if you don't define it, someone else will. You'll forever be looking and watching what everyone else is doing, which then is never this.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be making lateral moves or descending. That's just the way that it works, because you're spending all of the energy watching what somebody else does instead of taking that energy and going up. I'm not running anyone else's race. This is my race because this is my lane, this is my niche, and I own it.
Yep. Nailed it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When we come back, we're going to dive deeper into this. We are going to take an ad break. Hopefully, the ads work better this time. If they don't, I apologize, and I will get that glitch out by the next episode for sure, which is tomorrow with Dr. Chris Zano. So I'm going to get this video ad on the screen. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back, everybody. Every chiropractic clinic needs a compliance program. If you are not sure what that includes or why you need one, let Dr. Robin from RHDC Consulting help you build your chiropractic compliance. If you are ready to get started, head to robin-hale.mykajabi.com and let Dr. Robin guide you to the end result. Turnkey Practice is a chiro-focused full-service team. They are your administrative guidance through credentialing, lease agreements, and of course, office build-outs. They are there from start to finish, allowing you to focus on the marketing and building your patient base while they build your practice. Tailor-made for you. To get started, head to myturnkeypractice.com/legendarypod. Dr. Christy Wick is revamping the landscape of women's chiropractic coaching. With a focus on connection and congruence, she's on a mission to empower lady DCs across the nation to create bold, successful lives and practices their way. Get started today by visiting theilluminatedsquad.com. Imaging Services' primary business is chiropractic solutions. With over 45 years in the industry of helping chiropractors, Michael Tokash offers free consultations on building your business. In the past year, Imaging Services has installed over 100 X-ray machines and digital X-ray systems in over 42 states across the United States. For more, head to theimagingservices.com. The 56-day chiropractic boot camp, building badass female chiropractors who are instinctively successful. Head to 56daychirobootcamp.com/legendary for your free endless referrals cheat sheet now. Thank you for allowing this brief disruption to take place. And now back to the program. Sweet. All right, cool. Hey, it worked that time, guys. That was awesome. So that's really exciting for me personally. That's a win for tonight. So hopefully the last one works. But Doc, while we're coming back, I want to talk now on how we implement this into practice. Talk to us about, and then we'll two more topics kind of left, and I want to talk about how to implement it in practice for chiropractors. And then I want to talk a little bit about how you think is best to go about doing this as a student, because I think both are very, very important. And with our large student audience, I think we got to show some love there as well. So talk to us about practice.
The ripple effect in practice.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's go back to relationship capital. So relationship capital also changes your value in the marketplace. I suppose I should actually keep track of how many people will reach out to me on a weekly basis and say something like, "Hey, Barb, I'm looking for somebody who does this. Who do you know?"
Yeah.
And I immediately connect people, right?
Yep.
So Malcolm Gladwell talks about mavens and connectors. So mavens are trendsetters and connectors are people who know people, right? And so it's really important to be that connector because it also gives you relationship capital. Right. So when I connect Johnny to somebody who then becomes a sponsor of his podcast, I just built relationship capital, right? Like he's thankful that I helped him level up with his sponsorships. So the same thing happens in practice. And remember, when you get into practice, that there are other business owners in your town I mean, especially if you're in the boot camp, they do not know how to be a strong business owner like you do. That's something that for a while I took for granted was, and it's not bragging if it's true. I'm an unbelievable businesswoman. It's something that I have loved since I got into practice. I love studying everything about business. Like last year alone, I spent $73,000 on my own personal coaching because I am my greatest tool and the greatest asset in my practice. And so, from that, I learned from the likes of Garrett Gunderson and Rich Christensen and Mike Michalowicz and Matthew Loop and like all of these dudes who are really unbelievable entrepreneurs. So your results will be the product of your relationship capital plus your willingness to consistently take action. It's not about doing everything in your practice. It is not. But what you have to do is you have to determine what are you really good at and then be the best at it. So a couple of things that I knew early on that I was good at. I'm an unbelievable communicator. My mom was an English professor, and so we learned how to write really well. It was something that was of high value in our family, and speak, articulate. My mom and dad had us memorizing verses and songs from a young age, and had us, in church, saying those. Like my son Samson memorized Isaiah 53. Which for those of you who know is basically the prophecy of Jesus into the New Testament. And it's a really long and like meaty text. And he memorized the whole thing as a sixth grader and recited it from memory in front of about 600 people in our church when he was in sixth grade.
Awesome.
So for those of you who are parents or are going to be parents, get your children speaking in front of people at a young age. Like by God's grace, I've never had a fear of public speaking. And I think a lot of it just had to do with the fact that my parents had us do it when we were young. As well, remember that if you're nervous to do things like that, it's because you're making it about yourself. If you're so focused on your audience, it doesn't matter if you have a booger in your nose, because what you're saying is of immense value to their life. So you must be a value creator. And value is determined in the other person's mind. Right? Like I often hear chiropractors say, they just don't value chiropractic care. Yeah, because you don't value them.
Right.
You have to be interested more than you're interesting. Your practice members show up at your office for you to serve them. They sought you out. Now, that doesn't mean they run the show. They're asking you to please lead them. So remember that a leader, number one, casts vision. A leader casts vision. So we meet people where they are and give them a bigger vision than the one they currently hold for themselves. Remember, like Robin, we talked about the ripple effect. We talked about how do you know what you can do? How do you know what you can do? Like what's that guy that just hiked across Antarctica? Chris. His initials are Stevie. I cannot remember his name. How does he know he can do that? Because he stepped out and did it. He didn't know before he did it, and no one had ever done it before. But now people are starting to think, well, I can do that because somebody already did it, right? So a leader casts vision. The second thing a leader does is create culture. So remember that your practice members are coming to your office because something has been disrupted in their life. Something has been disrupted in the quality of their life, and they want to be able to return to that. So helping them see how chiropractic care is part of the culture that they seek will then increase your retention. So you create the culture for your practice members, and you create the culture for your team.
Mm-hmm.
The third thing that a leader does is hold accountable. And that's why, please, get training on sales. Remember that no one's life ever is transformed without a sale. Transformation always happens after a sale, and a sale is typically an exchange of money. So as a student, a couple of books that I encourage you to read. Number one, Jen Sincero, You're a Badass at Making Money. Don't read it once. Don't even read it twice. I'm talking, have that puppy on repeat so that you recognize that money is everywhere. Like there's such an abundance, and it's for you if you step up and provide value. It's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
Another really awesome, I think, money book is Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. Because in any interaction, you're either sold or you're selling. Like, think about dating. Can you ever remember a gal that you wanted to ask out and you asked her out and she said no? That ever happen? Probably didn't happen to you.
I mean, come on, Dr. Barb, look at this. Come on.
All right, so Tommy doesn't know about that. I down a guy or two in my day, and so here's what happened in that interaction. He didn't sell me on him. I was sold on remaining single, right? And any of you who are in a relationship or married, you sold your spouse or partner on you, and they sold you on them.
Yep.
So please, if you are saying, I don't like sales, liar, liar, pants on fire, never say that again. Don't say that. Like, you are an entrepreneur, and everything that you're doing is selling yourself, like it or not. So when someone says that to you, just gently put your hand over their mouth and say, I don't want to know what you have to say, because they already sold out. They already quit, and they want you to quit too. Don't do it. Get really good at sales. So Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone, I think it's another awesome book. Then Take Control of Your Life by Mel Robbins. It is a must. You must listen to that book several times and really understand the basis of fear, and what it does. So remember that every habit is a trigger, a thought, an action, and a consequence. Most of the time in life, we don't really change very many triggers, but we have 100% responsibility and control over our thoughts. Therefore, we get to drive our actions, and then we get to have the consequences. You're not a victim to your thoughts. Mm-hmm. They came from you, so you own them.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's what you want to talk about with ripple effect.
I love it. You always bring the heat, Doc. You always bring the heat. No, I think it's really important what you said at the very beginning, right? It's utilizing this relationship capital and knowing how to build it. Because if you don't, you don't just wake up one day and you're like, I know all these people, right? No, that takes time, that takes effort, and it takes trust. It takes trust because they have to trust you enough to reach out, and you have to trust them enough to say, okay, I'm going through with this, right? Whatever it was with the recommendation or the connection they made for you or whatnot. So I think that what you touched on was really, really highly important in the fact of, like, this is how you build a practice, right? This is how you build a practice. And I want to take it one step further from something you kind of mentioned just in the crosshairs there, but you talked a little bit about referrals, right? And when you talked more about retention, but I want to talk about, like, referrals as well, right? You not only are keeping patients in by just creating this culture, casting this vision, being a health leader for your patients and your practice members, but now all of those people, what's the number one thing they want to do is tell someone else about you and their experience in your office. That's it. They want to do that. The reason why is because you've created such an amazing experience for them, and they want everything to do with it, and they want others that they love and they care about, and they want them to have everything to do with it as well. So you build this family, this camaraderie, this culture, this environment that actually not only is great for business, but it's also amazing in that relationship capital, going back to square one and saying now you have all sorts of people that you can touch on, rely on, and say, hey, this is how we got to where we are, right? And so it's pretty cool. I love that you said that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was the students.
Wait, time out.
Go ahead.
All right, so I got to correct you on something.
Oh, hit me.
So these two things don't go together. if I provide good care, people will refer. That is not true.
Right.
And many a chiropractor has minimal referrals or has some, but not as many as they could if they knew how to refer. So there are 4 reasons that people don't refer. They don't know the way, they don't know the how, they have no desire, or you haven't asked them. So they don't know the way. You must have conversations with your practice members and teach them about chiropractic. Now, listen, it's bite-sized chunks and it's communicating them to them with value. So that's why in the boot camp and in my practice, it's whiteboard topics. Every single day that whiteboard topic changes, and that whiteboard topic could be the word skull. And then have a conversation with your practice member about, like, as a chiropractor, this is how I look at your skull. And did you know these things about your skull? And did you know that these things happen in your baby? And did you know these things and these things and these things and these things? Go ahead, lay down. Let me get you checked. Right? So we got to teach them the way, teach them the how. So that's your referral gift packet. That's doing your Strategies for Healthy Living workshop every single week. That's doing Facebook Lives and giving them a call to action. Like, people will follow. You have to make it easy. Like, here's what I want you to do right now. Go to drbarbaraeaton.com. I want you to check out the videos there. Then after that, as soon as you watch your very first video, then schedule a consult with me. Let's talk. Let's find out, are we going to be a great fit? If we are, I'll walk you through exactly what that's going to look like, so you too can be at the very top of your trade as a chiropractor because of the boot camp. Like, tell them exactly, right? So they don't know the way, they don't know the how, they have just no desire. That is not true. So I ask for so many referrals in practice. And I had 2 people who asked me not to ask them anymore. One was an undercover DE agent. Probably that's a good thing. The other one was just a really closed off teacher, and that was just her shtick. So I didn't ask her for referrals. Everybody else, I asked for referrals because of this. Asking for referrals is an act of love and service. Asking for referrals is an act of love and service. And let me tell you this, you know who owns chiropractic and who loves our principle and loves people when referrals are an act of love and service. If someone says it's unethical, that tells you exactly where their heart is. So I ask for referrals because if Johnny is my practice member and I ask him for a referral, and as a result of that, there's a ripple effect. And now his wife starts getting adjusted and their marriage is better. Now his wife starts getting adjusted and they can finally have a child. Now his children start getting adjusted, right? So it's an act of love and service. If you care about the people that you are serving, you will ask them for a referral. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you don't know how to do it right now.
Right. Yes.
It's never this. Hey, I know you've been getting really good results, so why don't you give someone my card? No, you sound like a ding dong. Don't come with me.
I haven't been called a ding dong in a long time. No, that was a good point. Thank you for sharing that, because I think it's really important for people to understand and recognize. The last thing I wanted to mention was the student base, right? You brought value by mentioning a couple books. Number 1 was Take Control of Your Life. Number 2 was you're a badass at making money. I can't even read my own handwriting. And then the last one is Sell or Be Sold. So those are the 3 books. Just Google them, you'll find them. And then the last thing I wanted to say was in school.
Hey Johnny, hold on a second.
Yeah.
If you guys message me, I'll send you my playlist, my Audible list, and you can see what books I'm reading.
Perfect. That works too. In school, as a student, as a chiropractic student, throughout my journey in chiropractic school, I was always wondering, right, I was always asking myself, what can I do for the profession now, right? I'm a big player. I like to play big. I don't do things small, and that's where this all came up, right? But it doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be on this large of a scale. You can play small at a micro level and have big impact on those relationships that you're building and on those connections that you're making. So I encourage all the students out there, all the students that are listening to this now, watching this now, listening to it later, to please go into an office, talk to a chiropractor, ask them if you can shadow or email them, whatever, but then offer them help, taking the garbage out, changing the face paper. I don't care what it is that you're doing there. If you can offer more than the student that came in before you and just stood in the back and watched what they did, that will set you apart from everybody else. And guess what happens then? You have now a relationship. That person has trust in you. And if you ever need anything in chiropractic and you like this person enough, that you can ask them and they will be open to sharing. So be an asset, be of value of another human being, either a chiropractor or another student. If a student asks for help on a schoolwork or, maybe studying for a test, offer it to them if you're available and if you have time and if you know the content really well. There's nothing wrong with that. So I want to encourage you to be an asset to other people, and that's also going to help create this ripple effect for not only your life but others' lives. And it's also going to help you level up in your game because you're going to start branching out. You're going to start creating that friction, those uncomfortable moments, and getting denied and getting accepted and all of these different ranges of emotions that you should be feeling and utilizing, right? And so I firmly believe that. So that's my student spiel.
Yeah, practice being rejection proof. Actually, Zhang wrote a book called Rejection Proof. I think that's what it's called, the rejection experiment or something like that.
Okay.
Like, I heard him last year. It's phenomenal. He's hilarious. Actually, if you Google, let me just look at what the title is. Oh, here's another one. Have you listened to Can't Hurt Me?
By who? I don't think so. No.
Oh, oh yeah. That one's really good. So it's called Rejection Proof. I have to, how I beat fear and became invincible through 100 days of rejection. So his name is Jiang. So if you Google, like YouTube that and put in his name and then put Dunkin' Donuts, you will number one, die of laughter, but you'll also see that the person with the most confidence wins.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even however ridiculous your request is, if you have confidence, you're going to win.
Yep. You're
going to get what you want. And confidence doesn't come about because you think about it. Confidence is all about all in massive action.
Love it. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So we're going to take our last ad break, and then, Doc, we will be back to talk all about the 56-day boot camp, pediatric boot camp, whatever, at Sherman. We'll be back.
Okay, sounds good.
Dr. Stu Hoffman, founder and president of Chiropractor Malpractice Insurance, is the foremost expert in both risk management and risk avoidance. Understanding the everyday challenges of today's practicing chiropractor and the current public perception of chiropractic has made Chiropractor the fastest growing malpractice insurance program of the last 28 years. Find out more at chiropractor.com. The IFCO is here to support you. Whether you are a chiropractic student, doctor of chiropractic, chiropractic organization, or member of the public, the International Federation of Chiropractors and Organizations is here for you. They recognize and support your right to practice and receive vertebral subluxation-centered chiropractic care and are here to ensure that right and spread access to that care throughout the world. Head to ifcochiro.org/legendary for more. Be sure to give our friends over at Chiro Hustle a listen. They are bringing together some of the biggest names in the profession and learning from the greats. Chiro Hustle creates a safe space where chiropractic leaders share their stories and their passions with the world. Let's get hustling by heading to chirohustle.com now. Thank you for allowing this brief disruption to take place. And now back to the program. Sweet. All right, Doc. So I'm going to drop a couple links for all of our viewers here to not only just get to know a little bit more about the boot camp, but also to get to know a little bit more about what you have coming down the pipeline for everybody to enjoy and be a part of. So talk to us a little bit, first of all, about the boot camp, and then we'll get into your upcoming event.
Yeah, so the 56-day chiropractic boot camp to double your business got its name because in 2017, I created the 56-day boot camp as a membership site, where I had been coaching chiropractors. I've coached chiropractors since 1999. While I was still in practice, I started coaching chiropractors and then have continued to do that after we moved here to Alaska. And so there were 8 topics and 7 lessons per module of 8 topics. So 8 times 7, 56. And the boot camp is my baby. Like I give 1,000% to my tribe. And so what happened is as I was learning and growing, I just kept like pouring more and more and more and more in. So this isn't like 1990 stuff or early 2000 stuff that's just has a fancy new package on it. Like this has all been created since 2017 from what I've learned and then partnering with 19 other experts in each one of their fields. And so long story short, instead of it being a pay to play where you get to participate as long as you're paying, the boot camp, unlike, I don't really actually know any other coaching groups in our profession that are a lifetime membership with a finite financial investment. So you'll reach a point in which you get to just continue on with all of your benefits without having to keep investing. And so I say that to tell all of you that if you're really smart, you'll invest in your own growth, your own development. And remember this, the greatest threat to you living your optimum potential and the greatest threat to me living my optimum potential is a low demand environment. So if you are the most successful person in your group, you are in the wrong group. Like I always want to be the dumbest, the poorest, the most unskilled in any groups that I'm in, so that I'm always learning from people who are doing what I'm moving towards.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys can all go to the link on the screen, which is 56daychirobootcamp.com/legendary. You can not only download a endless referrals cheat sheet, but you can also get more involved in drbarbaraeaton.com and the 56-day boot camp with her. But now, Talk Doc, I'm pumped for this. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see pictures, videos, comments, all sorts of stuff going on the old social media here. But talk to us about the Sherman event and the pediatric boot camp that you guys are hosting there.
Yeah. So when I put on an event, and this is a boot camp event, it's all about engagement, right? So social media is all about engagement, because here's the deal. Like we're all in this game called life and we're in it to win it together. So at my events, yes, there are speakers, but speakers are really just kind of like moving the conversation, because it's always a dialogue. Like the audience is always engaged together with the speaker and with each other, because collectively we're way more intelligent than the person on the stage is by themselves. So one of the things that we're doing is I've brought together female chiropractors that have a wide range of specialties, that have seen a lot of different things. And the reason that I've done that is that if you are going to care for children in your practice, it is not sufficient to be average. You cannot do that. There's way too much neurological insult to these children that you can just be an ordinary chiropractor without advanced training, because they're coming in and they've been born premature. So Dr. Mandy Dietz, her daughter Iris, was born at 26 weeks. It was a journey, and it still is a journey. So things that, unless you've been there, you won't know what to look for. Right. You won't know what questions to ask in the history to best care for that sweet little baby who's already endured so much by the time you put your hands on that baby.
Mm-hmm.
You won't know what are the questions that I need to ask that mama and that daddy so I can best care for them as they care for their child who many days is barely clinging to life. It is not optional to learn. It is your duty, it is your responsibility and your obligation. Special needs kids. I'll be the first to admit that like I'm all about discipline and obedience. Those are like really high on my value list. And so the thing about kids on the spectrum, they look like everyone else. So we think that they should be behaving and responding age appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
They're not wired the same. And if you approach them the same way you've approached every other kid, it will be a disaster for them, for their parents, and for you.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, at the pediatric boot camp, we're rolling up our sleeves. We're all getting down and dirty together. We're going to be in the adjusting lab. We're going to be helping you with exams so that you know what to do, how to look for it. How do you deal with like trying to do an exam on a squirmy kid on the spectrum who's losing their mind?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Right.
So it's going to be very broad for the purpose of exposing you to situations that if you're in practice long enough, you will see in your practice. And when that child and that family comes in, I want to make sure you know how to deliver chiropractic care and just start the relationship on the right foot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything you said is spot on, and I couldn't agree with you more. If you are going to, and we talked about this at the beginning of the episode, creating your niche, and whatever that looks like for you. So even in chiropractic practice, you should come up with your target market and your ideal clients. And a lot of times, a lot of us come out of school and we're like, we want to see families and kids. And then, we just treat all of us treat them the same. And it's like, no. There are very specific things that we're looking for, how their interactions are with others, how their interaction is with you. And then that adjustment that you deliver has to be so specific. And they're not, as Dr. Rubin always said in our pediatric technique class, and he said they're not just baby or little adults. They're not just little adults. And their nervous systems aren't wired the same at that point. And so you have to take care of them and meet them where they're at. And your skills got to be intact. Hands down, number one. Your skills have to be intact, and your history taking needs to be a little bit different and probably way more in depth than what you're doing with the average patient. Because it's the questions, like you said, you have to know to ask the right questions at the right times and know when someone answers that question, what is that leading to? What does that look like? What is that? Can you see that in the child? Or is that something you just need to keep in the back of your head when you're adjusting this kid? So all of those things that you said were absolutely spot on. You can go to 56daychirobootcamp.com/Sherman_peds, PEDS. That's Sherman_peds, or you can go to drbarbaraeaton.com and you can find all of that information as well. But the links are there as well if you want to go to specific things. And then obviously Dr. Barbara Eaton, wrong way. Dr. Barbara Eaton's got her link up there as well, drbarbaraeaton.com. And you can find all sorts of stuff, cool videos, referral cheat sheets, checklists, downloadable PDFs, all sorts of stuff on drbarbaraeaton.com. And I'm not sure, is your application process closed for 56-day boot camp, or is it still open?
No, we're open right now.
Awesome. So you can still apply for the 56-day chiropractic boot camp, and you fill out all sorts of questions and pretty much detailed history for Dr. Barb, so she knows if you're going to be a good fit and what you're looking for to get out of your experience in the 56-day boot camp. So if anyone has any questions, you can reach out to myself, or you can reach out to Dr. Barb for more information. And without further ado, Doc, I want to thank you for being on the show. I wanna thank you for dealing with all of the glitches and ups and downs that we had tonight. But you know what? We got through it. It was awesome. And last but not least, I want to encourage everybody to view or come back tomorrow night, because we're going to be on with Dr. Chris Zano at the same time, same place tomorrow evening for episode 2 of season 5. Catch you tomorrow. Thank you all for watching. Thanks, Dr. Barb.
Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening.